signposts and things that have been noticed by residents. Do we know who's been putting them up? Just like square signs tied on the pieces of string.
I don't know particularly where they are, but perhaps you show me or tell me where they are. That would be good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I do know, and I'll have to think about it.
So if you know on the street, you'll find out if they were included in the original.
Councillor Swan?
So if we know the streets that we're talking about, we better look on the original setup of the man-house on.
I can remember which. I'll find out what they'll definitely work because I was in that meeting and the big streets were on it. Thanks.
Okay, excellent, thank you. That's updates. South Lake Local Plan Review. That's 25 to 2040, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't actually say that, so I just put it as 40.
Yeah, it says 2040 on there. Councillor Webster.
We'll start off with just sliding outside of it slightly. Currently we have a group looking at a possible neighbourhood plan. Hopefully we'll finish that off this week by calling a meeting of that to decide whether we want to progress to put something to the council to run a neighbourhood plan or not. But we still have this local plan from South Lakeland. You should have two lots of documents with regards to that. One is the submitted sites, and the other is just a briefing sheet called Shaping Our Future. And one of the things that in that document, the Shaping the Future one, is what SLDC look at the potential direction of growth for Ulverston. And they set out three areas. One's the town centre, one's East Ulverston, and the final one seems to be the land off Erswick Road, around Main Road at Swarthmoor. It's a strange one, that, because it could possibly be that they're thinking of running the two together when they've always said there should be a direct separation between Ulverston and Swarthmoor to keep it separate. But that's one thing we'll look at. What I am going to possibly suggest to the council is that we have a working party to look at this, and we need to look at it before September. All 6 wards should be involved, so my suggestion would be a 1 ward member from each ward. That would then be a cross-party, across everybody. Plus yourself as mayor and deputy mayor will be, as if you wish to be on ex officio. And of course, if there's no disagreement between any ward, I would suggest that Councillor Fillmore be allowed on it anyway as the only Green member of the council. So it will be made up of possibly 7 members plus you two as ex officios. And then we can definitely look deeply into that local plan, because there are some areas in that document, especially the green area down North Lonsdale Road, that they haven't put in. You know, and it seems so strange that they've left that out. But it could be that they're using that as a bargaining tool with Glaxo, or the Glaxo changes and other things. But there are other areas that you look at and think, well, why is that not being included? Or, oh no, we don't want that there. You know, so that working group could look at this and put forward on SLDC, and by that we can call a meeting with the strategic planning team and have a fight with them if we wish, you know, but put our point over forcefully of what we are looking at and what we want as being planning, but what we want as green.
So that sounds like a proposition you're making there.
If it's acceptable to the members, that's my proposition, is to have a group of 6 councillors, 1 from each district, plus Councillor Fillmore, and your 2 secretaries.
In September, in August.
Before September.
So the beginning of August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second for that? Seconded Councillor Thompson, I think. So if you have your hand up, Councillor Butcher. Oh, okay. I'm trying to keep one on everywhere. I'll see hands moving on. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would support Councillor Oates' proposal. Praying to God, Southend can listen and trust what's here this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think the point is unless we actually make a submission to South Leyland, we've got to do anything else, so.
It would change if you do.
Absolutely. So,
With more details. We are wanting to plant trees on this pole. If we can't go further, little forest will be talked about native trees, so we are keen on planting trees there. Councillor Smith is going back to break down and get the prices for the cycles, for town and what have you. So things are being looked at, it's just that we are waiting for the breakdown of everything to come back and give you prices.
thank you. So the minutes aren't there in front of us to be noted.
Can I suggest we note them?
Councillor Wilson, seconded Councillor Bishop Rowe. Agreement? Anyone against? Anyone abstaining? Okay, thank you. Carried.
Thank you very much.
Financial General Purposes Standing Committee, Councillor Mark Wilson.
Thank you very much. First of all, there are some notes that I took at the F&G meeting. Can I suggest we note all the minutes? Shall we note them?
Seconded Councillor Bishop Rowe. Everyone agree to note them?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll agree that. Thank you. So then, Council to note the bank statements. We did have an interesting debate. The clerk was on holiday, so we were left alone to play. But we were pleased with the bank statements, I think, at the end. Anyone have a comment? So,
To note the bank statements.
Noted. Okay.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you.
I've got on bank statements, but there is something else that I mentioned earlier in my remarks, I think, so that's okay. We were happy with the bank statements and finance. I have had some questions, but we're okay with all that. We went on at item 4 of the F&GP notes, minutes, to the reserves policy. A good paper, and it was, I would suggest and recommend to Council that we agree with this reserves policy. And at the meeting, it was proposed by Webster and seconded by T. Irving. Should we keep that the same?
Yes, and of course,
Councillor Tom? Second?
Second.
Thank you very much.
That's the reserves policy. Everyone agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Internal Auditor's Report. This was a very good read. The Town Clerk had put a lot of effort in with the Internal Auditor, and it was agreed to recommend that Council note the report. Shall we take that decision now? I'll put it forward.
Moved by
Seconded and seconded by Norman.
Okay. Everyone agreed?
And we did think further to that it would be, there's an agreed need to have a look at an assets review at some stage. The committee, when they met, felt it was important to take depreciation into account. Well, it's always a good thing when you hold assets and physical assets. You might want to replace them at some time in the future.
Just want to Councillor Webster, David Webster.
yeah, I'm going to speak after the council was finished.
Okay, thank you. The committee welcomed a well-written glowing report thanks to the auditor and the financial responsible officer. That's the town clerk. So thank you to both.
Glowing report.
It's with regard to that audit of facilities, equipment and facilities and the like. We're going to have this done quite soon actually, because we're going to have to start purchasing new equipment for every employee. So it may
Jubilee Beacon. For those who haven't seen the massive report that comes from Bruno Beak, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Beacon Page Pageant Master. Very detailed report on how we might look at a special celebration with a series of beacons throughout the country next year for the Queen's Jubilee. This isn't just the 50th, this is something that probably will never happen again. Those of us who are young people, some time ago, will have seen these beacons come and go, and people get excited by them and they enjoy them. So the committee agreed that it be put to council to consider both items as outlined in the accompanying papers, including the idea of incorporating the town crier and a special tune to be played by a piper. So the recommendation is to consider using a beacon, or perhaps even buying a beacon. People may want to discuss that.
Thank you. I'll take Councillor Butcher first, and then Councillor Webster. Councillor Butcher.
Thank you. I don't want to pour too much water on this people, John. I'm all for it, I think it's a great idea. I remember the last one. But I do have serious reservations on the health and safety issue. Especially Horde, look at the moment, it's like a kingdom. It's ready to flare up everywhere. How are we going to place it when that beacon's lit to make sure nobody does knock it over and create a problem? And also where's it going to be stored at? That was my two main issues.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Dave Webster.
I can see where Councillor Butcher's coming from. What I'm going to say is we have some exceptionally good methods in this area. If we look into our homemade, it could be one that could be either a permanent fixture or a temporary fixture. But as I said, we have some excellent methods with the likes of Thor Atkins and Uco, and some others who will be able to. And in that document, there is the designs for those sort of clothes to be built.
Okay, thank you.
Happy? Ish.
Well, I shouldn't have that. No, I think it's a good idea, especially where Councillor Webster said, really gone from
I
people.
think that's right. Well said. Happy?
Councillor Bishop Road.
Just one little concern, Mr. Mayor. I did mention at the MGP meeting, the location of this fire pit or whatever is used, not too near the whole monument, because the last time somebody built a big one there, it cracked the monument, so we're still paying for it now, 100 years on.
Well, I think those details will be gone to Councillor Brownstone.
Yeah, I think as long as it was kept to something like, the design we put in the beacon braces, it's essentially a propane fire beacon, so I don't think the heat issue will be too big, Councillor Lowe. I hope we could do something along that line, and especially, and I think the health and safety aspect about the risk of the fire being out of control. If it's a propane burner, it's not dealing with a huge bonfire at that time, and dealing with something that can be instantly turned off.
I get a sense that what people are thinking is that we established a support principle for it, and some of these smaller items can be discussed at a later date, we've got until next June to do so.
So I put forward that we agree to consider. I propose that we do just that.
Okay, so that's second, Councillor Butcher. Agreed?
Great. So you're seconding that you want to consider it? Just
Yes,
to me.
well, can I suggest
To
that you
defer
consider...
it.
I'm terribly sorry. We are agreeing with the note here so that we can look at some of the questions that have arisen. We assume that there would be. Let's make a decision whether we're putting a permanent one or a portable one. So I think that sometimes, the Mayor quite rightly says, we will have time to sit down and decide what we want to do when the mists clear a little bit more. Thank you.
It's a second principle, basically.
That's it.
Those were agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The seventh item is about Little Hode, and committee agreed to recommend to council the ideas for Little Hode for tree planting proposed to council. This had been agreed unanimously by F and GP, so I put it as that.
Okay, so,
once decided by the Environmental Sustainability Committee.
so is there something to vote on there, or is there?
Is what, sorry?
Is there anything to vote on that? So is- could you recommend it? Do you want to support?
It's
council?
usual that I guess that we want to echo our support.
Okay,
Agree.
agreed?
Thank you.
Councillor Irving?
Move.
Okay, agreed?
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Item 7, payments.
I think we're looking at monument floodlights now.
Payments. 7.
I didn't put that on because I'm coming back to you with more information. It's just on the minutes. It's not an item for decision because you wanted more clarification on it, didn't you?
We did, well, yes, and that's why I'd like just to say, F&GP, they didn't throw it out, they didn't think it was a daft idea, we thought it was wise, but we wanted to unpick one or two aspects of the valuation and the additional charge, which I think is worth mentioning.
Yeah, because just in the minutes. I don't think it was for decisions.
F&GP being approved this tonight.
Sorry?
F&GP being approved at the council's not.
Okay, so you want agreement? You want agreement for that?
Yes, please.
Okay. But the whole lighting. Agreed?
I agree.
But I'm not sure what you're agreeing because you didn't agree.
No, this is why I think we should wait till you get more information and then we can go from there, if that's okay.
That's why I didn't put it on the agenda because as far as I could see you want more
No, we
information.
don't.
Which is perfectly reasonable.
That's right.
So I didn't put it on the agenda.
So we're waiting for further information.
Yes, please, thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's, I think that's what we seek.
That's noted then.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Payments.
Regarding the payments, I'd be grateful as the administration officer is not back tomorrow as I'd hoped, is not back till Wednesday, so I'd really quite like it if we could do the approvals on Thursday. She's going to need a day to sort everything out. Is that all right? Thursday morning.
So 2 members for Thursday. Yes.
Yes, please.
What is?
People don't want to, if you don't want to come in, we can do it online. If you prefer to do it like that, I just need 2 authorisations.
I will do it.
I can't work, so I can't do anything. Okay.
You don't have to actually do it in the morning. You can do it in the evening.
No.
So you can do it online. Thank you.
So, councillor Chelsea on one. And who is the second?
I can make myself available, thank you.
Okay, councillor Martin.
Mark and Michelle online.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Right. On to planning. Right, that's our 2021-0516, Lloyds Bank. I'm not going to read through the speakers together. Any comments, any thoughts? Lloyds Bank?
Yeah, I think it's probably work that they need to do, and that's good. I wonder if we might be cheeky, could I ask that they, as part of this window replacement, they put the ATM, the telling machine, round the other side so that the cars aren't encouraged to stop on the cobbles opposite, just down from the butchers and opposite the...
It won't move.
Well,
There's still out there to go around the corner.
excuse me, I'm just suggesting this as an idea that they be asked to consider removing that to the other side of the building so that cars and the idle beggars that park there to get the money out of that ATM rather than any of the other ones cause a great disservice to shoppers, people queuing, shopkeepers, and a lot of people are wondering about that. So I think it would be nice if we could try and throw that one in and see what they say. Thank you.
Councillor Helen.
Sorry, Jane, quite a few years ago, someone else asked about this and we asked about it and they said it was going to be colossal to move it, didn't they? A long, long time ago.
Was that sorry?
They were doing some work at the bank and someone at council asked.
Yeah, the only one I can remember is asking the Cumberland Building Society if they could put an ATM in, but they said it was so expensive they couldn't. I don't remember
It was never before, was it? It was never when it was David Platt. But I know we did, it was mentioned about that down there because the ATM machine, it was quite old. And they said, could they put it round the other side? And they came back and said it was far too expensive, so it'll be dearer now.
And it's a listed bill.
Councillor Charles
From experience in running banks, when they're putting those in,
Yeah.
it tends to be a security issue, not just whereas I think it was under the side too high. I think that's the only one that's low enough for you
Yeah.
to put it, so you'd have to put it through the wall.
I was thinking of the garden area as well, but
Did everyone have that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, on with the previous conversation before they did that, except that ramp access around the garden, which potentially brought windows that are high into the lane architecture. I think it's worth an ask.
Okay, so the suggestion is that we put that into our response. Everyone in agreement?
Yeah.
thank you. Yes.
Anyone against? No, okay, thank you. Put that in our response. Okay, SL 2021-0358, 6 Redgate Close.
Similar to other developments around there, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, it is. In fact, it's a slight change from one we looked at last time, we approved. Slightly smaller than the last time.
Approved.
Okay, both councillor Worthy, seconded.
I'll second it. Thank you.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. 0575, GSK, change of use of office. Bringing in express hub. Okay. Guys,
No problem with me, I agree.
Agree.
choice of words.
Whichever.
Thank you. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. 0650, 7 Kingsway, Cat Summer House.
Retrospective.
I'm happy to approve it.
I second
It's retrospective.
Well, we don't believe that really counts now. We're not allowed to react to that. We're making a comment on this planning application.
Very big is that.
Just Councillor Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a good look at the plan. If it had come in prior to being constructed, I would have been against it because its size, very large piece of work. I've seen smaller polling, shall we, so I would not approve it. I vote against it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Jones.
I can remember not so long ago we decided to ignore retrospective who's done what to when.
Well, on that matter, Mr. Mayor, could you ask the clerk just to remind us of what SLDC's policy is on that? Because even though we asked it, they said Nietsky.
Yes, I remember Councillor Jenkinson at the time saying the District Council's policy on this is, as far as they're concerned, it doesn't matter, it is a planning application to be considered, even if it is retrospective. So they are quite relaxed about it, and Councillor Jenkinson, I remember, said at the time that members should take it as a planning application, decide one way or the other whether it's retrospective or not.
To respect everything.
What can we do? You can't do it. Yes, you can. Carry on.
Well, I suppose it would have asked them to knock it down if it's been completely...
It is big.
Okay, anything further? Okay, those in favour? 6. Against?
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 6.
Approved by majority.
Okay, so that's 7, 6 carried. Thank you.
Would those who voted against it like me to say anything in the notes to the planners?
Why? It is very big for
It is
where
very
it's
big.
at. Very big. Enormous.
So objection is it's too large. So we've expected. Councillor Bishop.
Over intensive development property site.
Yes.
Thank you. Those notes were made. And the submission. this is the county council on 5/2021/9002. In fact, I found when I looked it up, it doesn't need the 20, it's 5/21/9002. If you put in 2020, you can't find it. So it's Woodgarth Building, UHS demolition. Councillor Quinn.
So this building, it can't be seen from the road, and I know from when I was at school it hasn't been used for at least 10 years, so I'm
Councillor Rick, then Councillor Jones. Councillor Rick?
I believe that we've actually had this come up before. When the very first plans for Sunside School came up, this Woodgarth was, I remember going and having a look around with James earlier, and that had been there as well. And we had actually had a look around, and it was decided then that Woodgarth was going to be taken down, so we'd already agreed it was in principle.
Okay, Councillor Jones.
This is just a point of interest. When Sansad went down there, that was their hobbles, and they wanted it keeping. It means nothing here, I know, but it's quite romantic.
Okay, that was all, thank you. Councillor Describe.
Unfortunately, there's a train through that. Now, the former headmaster, Mr. Fay, had concerns over the safety of that building, and he's been gone now forever.
Beautiful.
There was people building in this gate, badly maintained, or not maintained, so support their application.
Okay, so it's a proposed second read. Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Agreed?
Agreed.
Anyone against?
I'm not going to vote on this one, thank you. You can record that there, please, Chair.
That's carried. Right, back to the SLDC. 0676, Ulverston Railway Station. Repairs. Comments? Councillor Bishop Road.
Second.
Seconded, Councillor Jones. Thank you. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yep.
No one seems to be against, thank you.
Welcome.
Very well, yeah. My thought about it was what they're going to do about the piece they're blocking off under the glass. They seem to be blocking off a whole chunk of platform, so I stop the train short, or everyone go to the ticket office that may or may not be locked at times, but that's for the network we'll have to figure out. So. 0672, 66 Birchwood Drive. Comments? Bishop Road, Councillor?
I've been around there, had a look at the defensive room there. So no objection. It's like hangers on that section road.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Anyone against? Thank you. Carried. 0678, 20 Cartmel Drive. Councillor Reid.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I said that this application's passed. I've actually had a look at it. It's no different to anywhere else that's been done on the streets.
Yeah, okay. Okay, agreed?
Agreed.
Anyone against? No, thank you. Carried. 0700, 10 Baytree Road. Comments? Thoughts?
Agreed.
Councillor Jones, agreed? Secondly, Councillor Cooney.
Yes.
Agreed?
Very
Agreed.
good symptoms.
Anyone against? No, thank you, that's carried. 0695, Flatburn Cabinet House. Interesting. Any comments?
Surprised at having recently been completed and not wanting to do replacements. Yeah, obviously it's timber, matches what's already there.
Even when I do best like the line. The thing I found interesting that I didn't realise until I saw the plans, because it's not apparent from outside, is that actually it's the ground floor flat that spans 2 buildings. It's quite interesting, I thought. So, agreed?
Agreed.
Anyone against? No, thank you, carried. 0699, 133 Birchwood Drive. Councillor Reid?
Thank you. Yeah, suggesting we pass this, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Agreed? against? No, thank you. Right, there's also, at this point, as we're talking about planning, I just want to quickly put to people, members, what they want to do about planning for August. It's been a big month quite often, but we have just very recently, with insufficient time to put it on this agenda, but you have seen to have a case sensitive about some work to be done at the Beehive, at the Greggs, etc. So I wonder what people want to do about that, whether they want to have a quick meeting in August or I don't know really, because SLDC was required by 9th of August, and we don't have a normal meeting for the 16th of August if we have one.
16th of September.
Yeah, but we could have planned 16th of August, couldn't we? We could have a planning only in August. Whether we'll get any more coming through, I don't know, but this seems to be a fairly important one. That's a bit great.
On the face of it, it looks a complex application, Mr. Mayor. We need some good looking at.
I think it needs some time. Councillor, Michelle, Scotland.
I would definitely like to be able to speak on it because again, it's supposed to be business use going on and not retail. And this is all retail that's coming in again. And I think the excellence of giving hot food for the people working in those places is a bit nonsense. And we'll just have queues of cars parking around there. There's a drive-through for the place.
Okay, so it sounds like people will want to have a good look at it and discuss about it. It sounds like they have to have a... Councillor Ponto.
You've just had a Greggs put on the A590 at Newby Bridge, and the problems, it's alright, it's a different setup with the traffic lights, etc. With the extra traffic that is now going out, in and out of there, you're getting, I think you'll find, if you went into the figures, of more regular occurrence of accidents on there, so it's the traffic it causes, the extra traffic that will cause, like Michelle said, going in and out of there, and they're not the best of traffic lights as we know at the moment. And the nuisance at night as well, which you're getting, they might take it away from here and take it up there.
Yes, I wonder whether members felt it would be worth investing in a bit of professional planning advice on this one. Because the only way to, if the council objects, if it objects, I think it's got to decide, it will need to do it on very strong and clear planning conditions, not, well, we just don't want it, that's not going to cut in the ice. I mean, I can investigate getting a planning opinion on it if members feel that they want to do that.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Because the complexities associated with this type of development, Mr. Mayor, I would accept the town clerk's advice. In fact, I'd welcome it because we have missed quite a few points in previous multiple applications that we haven't alluded.
So,
I would propose that a meeting arranged to honestly get the advice from the professional.
Yes, I will get a price, agree with the mayor and the leaders of both parties, and you'll probably get a written professional opinion on what the council can, if the council wants to refuse it, on how it can refuse it. Because I think this probably sits on the borderline of retail and not retail in a similar way. The Howlands is the other development that's going there, and of course how they're styling that is that if you buy a Howlands bathroom or kitchen, members of the public can't go in. It's just the builder that can go in and get it. So I'm not entirely sure how they're framing this one.
Could I interject there, Mr. Mayor? They have a similar setup in Barrow, the Howlands. It is trade only, not limited public. There will be quite a bit of heavy transport.
okay, thank you. Councillor Brown.
When the was first set, most of the councils here will remember that. It was going to be a high-tech park or high-tech businesses. Then not for all of the town, but the interest of the town will put forward so that the Aldi and Watts and Spencer's could be built. And that was agreed at this council and everywhere else. It would be better, it would be good if we could find out from SLPC, from the planning, if that is still classified as a high-tech park, no good shaking regularly, as a high-tech park with the exemption of those two premises, Aldi and Marks and Spencer's. If it is, then there's a good possibility for the rejection of that Great Wall.
Councillor Swafford, then I'll come to Councillor Hornby.
Yeah, I think when we said it was going to be a business package for employment purposes, and the likes of, there was going to be a vet sort of thing, they were included in that discussion. It was literally the Aldi and the Marks and Spencer's that were exempt from it. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with how it used to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's very clear what it is, but so
Yeah.
that's what brings us different.
Thank you. Councillor Hornby.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Would it be possible to look at the layout of the roads at the same time? I'm quite concerned about when you turn into Aldi, they have a crossing just as you turn in. You've got the busy roads going along, and I've seen 2 or 3 very near misses. And also traffic is going to back if Greg's going to be there. And I'm quite worried about that junction there being a very serious accident. If it was possible to look at that as well at the same time, please.
Thank you. Councillor Thompson.
And they say about Howden's going to trade only. How can you force them onto that when you've got Screwfix, which do exactly the same thing, and members of the public can just walk in, walk out, with the bathroom suite, kitchen,
How they get around it is a set of trade counter.
even for members of the public.
That, you know.
Members of the public
That's what
can
it
just
says.
go into
That's what
Screwfix.
it
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Howden's could fight that one. There's simple.
No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking really that the planning advice would be about Greg's.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, Howden's is what it is, Greg's is something entirely different, and so that's what I would get a price for some planning advice on.
Thank you. I'll take Councillor Michaels and then I'll take Councillor Ulverston.
Thanks. I'm just thinking of these things in terms of the benefit of the citizens of Ulverston. And as the Deputy Mayor said about Howden, so it will be of some value, and it may help people to be able to get the jobs done a bit quicker, rather than have to pay an expensive tradesperson to go to Barrow and back, doing now, to have something to collect. And I think that's the way I see it working. And I wonder about Greg's. It may be, they may come up with something spectacular, who knows, that people want.
Thank you. Councillor Webster.
Just to answer Councillor Irving's comment, when the Screwfix came up, I had brief discussions with the head of planning then, Mark Lynch, about this, and he said, because it's a trade counter and not goods offered off the shelf, that's how they got around the sales. That's exactly, I couldn't believe it. As far as I was concerned, that was a retail shop. That was it. It was retail, but they got round it because they don't actually allow you to go in and take things off the shelf. It's under a trade counter.
That's how they do it.
Okay, Councillor Bishop.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to clearly the problem the Deputy Mayor had, when she about what's allowed on that site. Once the council fettered our discretion by allowing Aldi and Marks and Spencer's on there, we have no control over who applies to go there.
I think this is what the planning specialist will flesh out for us.
Okay, I'll take one more. Councillor Sullivan has indicated, and then I'll think we need to think about wrapping that up. Councillor Sullivan.
I think also, not just what type of business is going on there, but also looking at, as a town, what we want as retailers now. So if we've got cars queuing up to buy pie, is that something that we actually want within our town? It's the amount of times that we talk about car idling and queuing. If we want to stop and go and buy something, it's just as quick to do that in the town centre rather than driving through a Greg's on that site. And if it was just to provide something for the people working on that site, doesn't need to be a drive-through.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll wrap up now. The clerk has suggested getting professional advice or get a written opinion on it. I wonder if the way forward it might be to do that. And then once we have that back, if I consult with or I meet with the three groups and we have a look at it and see where we go from there, whether we want a full planning meeting or what. Does that sound the way forward?
Yeah. Okay. Just very briefly, are we going to invite the people who are putting the planning applications to put their information to us as well, or are we just doing it from from one particular corner?
I think the council itself needs to think about it. If we decide that then we want a discussion with them, then we'll do so. I think at the moment just the council itself needs to consider it. Not much people agree.
Because the reason I think that is because even though we talk about it being, there's no one says that better the decision. I think they went to a decision before those plans were made to change its use to a stroke employment stroke industry. And the district does have that power within its local plan.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to propose from the chair then that we, sorry, councillor.
Can I just clarify, being on the planning committee, does that mean I'm no part of that discussion?
Probably.
Yeah, but not yet. We can't right now, though, can we? Need to.
Is that a yes, I can't?
Yeah, that's why you declare an interest at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, so
Right.
I couldn't be part of that discussion.
Well, the same for Mark, really. Yeah.
Well, I've decided to take a different route on that one. David doesn't expect to be missing in action soon, and these are easily tracked to where I have made a decision and where I haven't. And that's how this works.
We need to move forward on this.
The other thing I would say, Mr. Mayor, is if whatever decision or whatever you decide to do, regardless of an opinion of the a professional planning opinion, the whole council will have to meet to decide, as it's a whole council decision, because you don't have a deferred planning committee. So you will have to meet in August. I have written to the district council and explained that you don't usually meet in August and asked whether the September date would be satisfactory. I doubt it will, unless you want to bring your September meeting forward. Perhaps we could discuss that when the district council come back.
Jeff, what do you do? We've got a problem.
And there are quite a number of other planning applications that have come in, but they're not like this.
What can we do? We will have a meeting about it. It looks like we're going to have a meeting in August and just plan out a very, very quick one. And meanwhile, we'll have opinion that we'll discuss and we'll have some kind of legal foundation for a decision. Is that agree?
Yeah.
Did we have a planning meeting in August last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was just planning only, dependent on the plans.
Very quick.
Yeah.
There may well be other plans to look at. I think this is an important one. We need to have a discussion with the right information. So is that agreed?
Yeah.
Anyone against? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. That's agreed. We'll take all that later. Right. Item 14, items of future agenda.
Jane, can I just bring up?
Councillor Irving.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Jane, the Sunside School bit, it was the Sunside School and the two factories beyond that.
Yes.
And that is still a big problem, parking right on where the junction.
I've written to the county,
Right.
because it's the county highway.
Right, thank you, Jane.
And I'll let you know if I get a response.
Thank you.
Councillor Wilson.
Mine too is about something like in that area. It's what will be. Might we invite somebody from National Health England to come and talk to us about the dialysis centre that they're putting in place at the old Sunside School? It will be a useful thing to get a good description of that before they complete their actions. From what I know about it, it's a really good idea for those people who do have those issues. At present, I have to go to Kendal or Lancaster, and you're not off poorly while you're doing that. You've got to go back to work after you've driven there, you've been exhausted, I mean, your kidneys refreshed, and then you go back to, and then you have to go back to work. So this being here to give people a 30-minute drive time to it, I think it's an excellent idea, and I think it's something I wish NHS England would do a bit more frequently. So they've picked a building, they've resurrected it, and could we please have somebody come tell us about it? Thank you.
I think that may be popular. Agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Any other items to speak to the councillors for?
Subject to report, communication back from the district council, Mr. Mayor, I will brief this council on the kind of concerns raised by our residents earlier this evening. I'll also be putting a paper in about the future of the St John's Division of Building in Ulverston.
Anything else or? Okay, thank you. Item 15, public participation.
Norman Sanson, LA 12 9LG. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if you've been sitting on a seat in Ulverston last week and a lady come and sat by you and said, we've travelled from Durham, where's the market? What would your reply be? I've come to a market town. I said, I'm sorry about this. I said, and I had already expressed an opinion that when the shops bring some of their things out, it does when you come round the top corner make it look a little bit like a market. I explained to the lady that this is the way market towns are going. I suggested she went to walk on the Hood, told her one or two real places in Ulverston, but I was embarrassed that I couldn't say, yes, it's a market town, because it isn't. And I know a lot of work's been done to try and make it into a market town, but I wonder how you would have felt about it.
Nick Davis, LA 12 Nigeria. From tonight's discussion, it appears that the drive-through breaks is a controversial issue, and it's come in August, for an August meeting. Now, thinking back in recent history, 2017 and 2019, when O2 Telefonica Vodafone Telefonica wanted to put the mast up that we've got, those planning applications also came in August. Is this a coincidence that controversial planning applications come in August, or is that just by chance? Good.
So silly.
Spooky.
Could I suggest, Mr. Mayor, you phone a friend?
That's it for the public. Thank you very much. Date of next meeting. Looks like potentially it's going to be a county annual meeting on the 16th of August. So we'll wait to see what happens with the information from the clerk and perhaps see people on the 16th of August in here. Okay, before we close and move into part 2, could I, sorry, Councillor Webster.
I was just going to say, ask you for the meeting to go to part 2.
Do you think? Yes. Yeah, just before we do, just want to ask members what they think about this layout in comparison to the layout last time. The first one or the last time?
Can't hear the front door.
We can't hear,
Yeah,
I
okay,
can't hear you from there at all. Your voice isn't muted. And I'm not deaf. I can give you a certificate from my kids to tell you that I'm not deaf.
I find this easy. Anyway, we can do a show of hands then. Those that preferred this one, show of hands please. Hands up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's carried.
That'll be carried then, this one.
This one. But Pat can't
You
hear.
need microphones. I'm used to having. I seriously am not deaf, and I have missed most of what you two have said.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Can you hear the people around you?
Not easily. No, I can't even hear Councillor Norman Bishop Road, which is unusual.
I was trying to respect
I'm just wondering if we get a slightly modified version of this and make it a bit more V rather than circular, but that might be worth a try there.
Anything you want, Mr. Mayor?
Put those with the heated front
Put
and
that
the
with
front.
spit forward.
Really forward, Pat.
Quite frankly, part of the problem having those is that what were existing code regulations when that all starts to be safe, we might get closer together. Councillor Webster.
I want to take you back a few steps here to items for future agenda that we look into purchasing remote microphones for the tables. It can be done through ourselves, but there are remote ones that don't have to be wired. So, you know, we can look at it that way. It's then on the agenda.
Councillor Reid.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if much can be done about it, but I think one of the problem is we're sat at this road, we're sat looking at people's backs. And we can't see the mouths moving or anything, so sometimes you can't, it's quite difficult.
But the majority decision is you want to keep it this way.
No, this way is better than the other way, but
it's not the only council.
That's why I'm wondering whether perhaps next time we might try it just a little bit more closed in and more V-shaped and see what happens. Zoom in a bit closer. Just experiment with a bit like
If
that.
we're still alive.
Experiment like that. Take the point, thank you, Councillor.
You'll have us sitting on your knee next.